Hello, my name's Alistair, and this is Barry. Barry is a frog, but he's also a ninja frog. In fact, he has his own book. It's called The Tale of the Valiant Ninja Frog. But he also appears in another book, this one, The Prince and the Witch and the Thief and the Bears. There he is there. The words are by me, Alistair Chisholm, and the pictures are by Jez Tuya. And today I'm going to read this to you. Now, this is a book all about telling stories. It's all about Jamie and his dad. And one day, Jamie's dad settles down with Jamie to tell him a bedtime story. He's got all these ideas and he starts to tell his story. Jamie has questions. And Jamie asks, and Jamie has objections and other ideas. And before you know it, the story the dad tells isn't at all the one that he had planned. But I think it's a better one. And also, it's one that they made together. And it goes like this. The Prince and the Witch and the Thief and the Bears by Alistair Chisholm, illustrated by Jez Tuya. What kind of story should we have tonight? Asked Dad, as he tucked Jamie into bed one evening. I made up one, said Jamie, with a prince and a bear and a witch and more bears. All right, said Dad, why not? This then is a story called The Prince and the Witch and the Thief and the Bears by Jamie's dad. Once upon a time, said Dad, there lived a valiant prince. He was a brave and noble prince, and he lived in a far-off kingdom where he... How far off? Asked Jamie. What? Said Dad. How far off was the kingdom? Oh. Well, the kingdom, said Dad, was far, far away, on top of the highest mountain in the world, Mount Really, Really Tall, where fierce bears and dragons and wolves prowled. How fierce are the bears? Asked Jamie. Very fierce, said Dad. Enormous and shaggy, with thick matted hair and claws as big as your head. Rawr! Wow. So how did the prince get past the bears then? Well, he climbed down the cliffside where the bears couldn't reach, said Dad. Wow, said Jamie. With his horse as well? Oh, yes, said Dad. He carried his horse on his back. Wow, said Jamie. He was very strong, said Dad. Look at this picture of the prince carrying the horse on his back. This is my favourite picture in the whole book. Isn't it great? I like the little bird. So, said Dad, there was this prince, and he was very brave, and one day he set off to rescue the beautiful princess. Why couldn't the princess rescue the prince? Complained Jamie. Mum says princesses in stories are rubbish. Well, in this story it's the prince. I wanted to be the princess, said Jamie. All right, said Dad. Why not? The very brave princess set off to rescue the prince. And she... actually, no, I wanted to be the prince, said Dad. The prince, exclaimed Dad, set off to rescue the princess. The princess was a prisoner in a dark tower at the edge of the forest. She was being held there by her wicked aunt, who was really a witch with an evil eye. How evil? Asked Jamie. So evil, said Dad, that it could turn you into stone. Or jelly? Said Jamie. No, stone, said Dad. Maybe jelly sometimes. All right, why not? Said Dad. Sure. Good, said Jamie. I like jelly. Look at all the things that she's turned into jelly and stone. Look, there's a bear. It's become a jelly bear. And look, this is the dragon. And look, this is a dragon in stone. He looks very surprised. Poor dragon. The witch, said Dad, had locked the princess up in the tower. Why did she do that? Well, she did it to set a trap for the prince. You see, the witch hated the prince because he'd laughed at her only friend, a tiny green frog just as big as your thumb, who lived in the folds of the witch's cloak. That's you, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you're on telly, look. Hey. And so it was that the prince rode for many miles until he reached the tower, a terrible, awful place called Castle Broccoli, said Jamie darkly. Broccoli. Castle Broccoli, agreed Dad. I don't like broccoli, muttered Jamie. Well, at the top of the disgusting, hideous Castle Broccoli, the prince looked for the princess. But before he could rescue her, the witch caught him, shouted Jimmy. The witch caught him, agreed Dad. And they had a fight, whoosh, 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 said Jimmy. And they had a fight, agreed Dad. Because the witch was really a ninja, said Jimmy. Because the witch was really a ninja? Sure, why not? Yes, exactly, said Dad. The witch, who was really a ninja, attacked the prince with a mighty leaping kick. But he dodged, and she flew over the castle walls and was eaten by the bears, said Dad. Oh, said Jimmy. Dad looked down. Oh, what's wrong? He asked. I liked the witch, said Jamie. She was a ninja, and she had an evil eye and a frog. And anyway, it was all the prince's fault for laughing at her in the first place. And she never got to turn anyone into jelly. Huh. Right, said Dad, after a moment. Well, the witch fell to her death, he said. Or so it seemed. But at the last moment, the princess, who was secretly a famous jewel thief named Fingers Malloy, picked the lock of the cell, ran to the wall, threw down a grappling rope, and caught the witch. Hooray! But then the tiny frog fell out of the witch's cloak. Oh no, said Jimmy. Oh no, said the prince, said Dad. Oh no! The witch grabbed the frog, and the princess and the prince heaved her back up, heaved and heaved. And the horse helped, said Jimmy. And the horse helped, of course, said Dad. And together they pulled the witch and her frog back up to the castle and to safety. Hooray! Well, the witch was so grateful to them for rescuing her frog that she said sorry for capturing the princess. And the prince said sorry to the witch for laughing at her frog. And then the prince and the princess, who was secretly the famous jewel thief Fingers Malloy, set off home for their next adventure. As night fell and the stars twinkled over the land of Mount Really, Really Tall, the witch tucked the frog back into the folds of her cloak, where it was nice and warm. Dad tucked Jamie under the covers. How warm? Asked Jamie, blinking sleepily. As warm, said Dad, as a lovely warm bug, snuggled up in a rug, with a hug from his dad, who loves him. How much? Murmured Jamie. As much, whispered Dad, as your daddy loves you. Daddy, whispered Jamie, what about the bears? Don't worry, said Dad. We'll find out all about them tomorrow. And he kissed Jamie goodnight and left him to dream. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And from me and from Barry, thank you for listening. Goodbye.